I didn't manage I'll put up today the other sources, but I was shooting as material. I didn't manage to do yesterday. So, it's from today. Okay. But the point we're making here is in the mind of the Omad Kuf Pedalad, Hatzilus, in the Elam Hatzilus, everything in Malchus that Hatzilus. Sorry, that in Elam Hatzilus, everything is Elam Ha'achdus. That's to say, Ato Avayla Vadech. So we ensure Mascheles, V'zeu Shekos, which is seven lines from the bottom of the page. Zeu Shekos of Kol Niko B'Shmi, that everything that's Niko B'Shmi, the Koyal Elam Atzilus, because the Koyal Atzilus, because the pasuk says Kol Niko B'Shmi V'Lichvodi Boase B'Tzati V'Afasisi. So Boase B'Tzati V'Afasisi, that's the Elam is V'Ya. Kol Niko B'Shmi, that's Atzilus. So Kol Niko B'Shmi, Kol Atzilus, Ein Eretz. Ein Tzadayos, Ein Tzadakelim, Niko Shmoy Aleim. So it's all Niko B'Shmi, Ein Shmoy Amiyuchad Bi. So that means that's why in Atzilus is the union of Ata Avayla Vadech, all the other events are lost. Gam the Atzilus Nikadam the Adam that see it. Machem Kunas Sakelim Shem Shevein Gaber. So earlier we pointed out the opposite that Atzilus in the Abiyah Klolim, the Elam Atzilus is called Adam da Seer. And the reason for that is two reasons. Number one, that Mahmas HaKenim, Shomein Ha'aretz Gaber and so, because the Kenim of Atzilus Shaloi Be'erev, that's why it's called Asir. But Gam, even more, Gam Ha'oyer P'nus Ha'or V'ziv Bilvad. So from that perspective, Atzilus is called Elam Asir, which means it's only the lowest expression of Halikus. Mikol Makom, at the same time, only gave Dover and so that the Atzilus is the gave Dover and so touches. It means it's connected to the so. And the feeling of that everything is insignificant. That is why in the oil we feel the Ata Avayla Vadech, the bit of the Chudei law, which we called earlier Das Elyon, which means the Maila Yesh Lamata Ayin. That ain't it Milvade, that the Ata Avayla Vadech, the union of Bittul Mitzis. Well, that's what's the oil. They established but Keli said because the oil is double. This is but Keli Gama Keli Pnas Yichud Pnas Bittul the Chudei law. Okamayma, Iu V'Chayoy Echad Gam Iu Gama Echad. Because the unity of the Eibishter, but Chayoy, but the Eretz is they're united, and that's spoiled that in the Kenim there's also Yichud. So from all this we realize we derive the Achdus of Elam Atzilus. Yuvan Zeh, and it brings another explanation. Me'atzilus rucha shel Moshe alayin ish askenim. Story in Parshas Ba'aloischa that the Eibishter tells Moshe Rabbeinu, "Kachal chashiv mish v'dikni yisov v'lekachti min orach asher alecha v'tzalti aleim." Says, so what does it mean? Shaskeini v'yitchilo l'matam v'abmadreget Moshe. Before that, before the shpa, the emanation, that's the meaning of the word. There's the shpa of that Moshe's spirit and the skenim there, and they were much lower madriga than Moshe. The Atzilus Ruach Shel Moshe Alei, and therefore Nitzal madriga. Through the Atzilus Ruach Shel Moshe, that Moshe's spirit was reached them and affected them. They transformed. Therefore Nitzal madriga at shiur madrigas Moshe. That's a marshal interesting. So it's a marshal from that and I came him that seals. Come came that seals. I gam shem this fears vein bel gab it so the lamical meters in meters you cloud came him for seals create Israel's division and the Gebala, which is about to and so for lamical meters me cloud me coma in Ali it doesn't say coma in Ali they slaps the side of so by gam come tax So that's the Hagari word in this dogma that had a pull out the oil is part of the cane, the way Moshe's spirit is part on this cane. So that's what that's the meaning on in the pasuk. The first half of the pasuk. Ata avayla vadecho. That's the madrega of Atzilus, which is all about the feeling, the kus. This is the only thing. There's nothing else. And that's what he asked every day in davening. Where do we say that exactly? I forgot. Remember? Anybody remembers? Oh, that's in that.
It's not in Bible. Robin?
Yeah? No, Ata Avayla Vadecha, we say about David. V'loy chaleinu, I don't know. V'loy chaleinu. That's in, oh, yeah. I forgot. Shmoneh Esrei. Shor Shavtenik HaRishonim, V'Atenik V'Tchila, V'loy chaleinu Ata Hashem Levata, V'chesed Orachim Tzedek U'Mishpat. So we say it in Shmoneh Esrei every day, right? V'loy chaleinu Ata Hashem Levadecha. You know, we don't, it's one of these expressions Shmoneh Esrei that we don't really capture. What is what Vadecha Vatzilas Gilip Nesalavadehu. So that's the Bakosha. What is Hashem? That is the Indian of Gilif Atzil. Shelamata Gilaz. Shezeh Amikas Indian Deo B'Tachtenim. That's the ultimate Deo B'Tachtenim. Shegam Ba'asi Gilgam Atzil. So it's Atavada Vadecha. That is at the first part of the pasuk. Hakaksiv. Then the second half of the pasuk is Atos Isas Hashamayim. That's already a lower level. Shazep Knesa Esther. There's the Madrigo the Eibush to hide himself and Mistata B'Shamayim V'Hotz Mishakosef Ochen Ata Kel Mistata. So the Eibush conceals himself in order to create Shemayim V'Hotz. Not Levadecha. Levadecha means that it's like an Atzilus that ain't Novad. When he lowered itself to the state, the Eibush was hiding, mistata, and he creates Shamayim V'Hotz. All this, all this discussion is to explain what is in the top of page Kuf Peidalid. He explained that what was in the Sofim, Efanim, and Chayes HaKodesh. He started saying that the Sofim is connected Olam Abriya. That's what the Kosh, the whole thing, the Maim of the Kosh, and he explained in top of page Kufay that the Sofim reached that the Amida is expressed. The Amida means the beetle expressed, so they say Kodesh Kodesh. So this entire discussion was to describe the isbaininess of the Sofim. What is Sofim Masigim? What are the Sofim the Mimaloi? So that he says. So the Sofim, they capture this madrega of first of all, there's bonus atavayla vadecha, and then there's atisashmatas vasofim shem kadosh. Now we go back to the original discussion here. Sofim shem kadosh. Sofim say kodesh kodesh kodesh. What does it mean? Shemasigim p'nes atavayla vadecha p'nes atzilos shekadosh v'odom biyah. Sofim, they exist in Abriya, but they grasp, they understand, so to speak, that level of the Gilul Likus, which is Nelam Atzilus, Atavayla Vadechot. That's the thing of Kodesh. Kodesh means Kodesh Umugdol. Masik Atavayla Vadechot is Atzilus. Shekodesh Umugdol Biyah. Val Kein Heim Oim Di Mimal Shchinta. Mach Masik Atavayla Atzilus. Mimal Shchinta. This entire discussion that described that's to elaborate on the abundance of the abundance of the This bonus of the soft volcano, so that's I mean malashnt. Above that, Shchinta is the madriga of Atzilus Sierra the Bia. There mimal, Masigim is Asmis Atzilus. Agam Shatzafim Bria, the Bria may or Atzilus Begil. The Takum Gil, but in Bria they feel the Gilu of Atzilus. The here is the Bria Yesharish Shain Lakin Noisal Atzmai. Interesting expression. Bria is the Yesharish is the first creation that the Ein of the Kik and Noisal Atzmai. I guess I'm not sure the exact meaning of the expression. Noisal Atzmai carries. The Ein carries that first yesh. Me'ashem Gilui.
On maybe.
What?
Like someone takes on something.
Yeah, takes on something. Yeah, but it's an interesting expression. Me'ashem Gilui. So there, the Ein is Gilui. Kamal the marshal. It's another marshal. Oasis are cooking. I'll have toiv. The Oasis are cooking. I'll have letters that are engraved on the precious stone. Shemaya Be'il 7 of the Oasis. Because they're engraved on the precious stone, so the shine, the light of the heaven of the precious stone overpowers the Oasis, the helm of the Oasis. So now in our case, the Oasis are the Oasis of Atzilus, of Bria, because the Chukim 11 toiv, so the oil of the 11 toiv overpowered. So that's an interesting marshal here. Another marshal. Well, the marshal is a machshava. Okay, that's usually Chassidus brings always that we learned it actually before that the Bia is connected machshava dibur ma'aseh. We spoke about Itzir is dibur, but here it talks about machshava is bria. Machshava is levush nefesh, stak levush nefesh, like it says in Tanya. It's not the nefesh itself; it's only a garment of avol. Levush miyuchad b'nefesh. Machshava tmidis. That's why the machshava is constant, because the machshava is part. Is the levush miyuchad b'nefesh. Kamoya seichel, kamoya seichel nimshach nefesh. Now he breaks down. There's this intellectual ability, which is really a step alone, not just a step alone. There's koychas and levushim, like it says in Tanya. So the koychas seich is always there. Mshach tamid in the nefesh. Kamoik and machshav and mshach tamid. Well, nefesh may be a machshav. And the nefesh, the light of the light and the strength of the nefesh. May tamid. The nefesh is in a revealed and expressed way in the levush of machshav. The gam we see that even that level of seichel that cannot be expressed in words, but in machshav it's there. Even that level of seichel, which is above Ashpa Gilui, which cannot be expressed, sounds not even not only but dibu, it's like it passes down to few levels. It's not just the level that cannot cannot descend into words, dibur, in being expressed in words, but even a higher level than that. The level that cannot be expressed, is still in the machshav. Similarly, when you get to say, similar in feelings and emotions. So it just basically elaborates to that point that machshava is a type of levush, the type of garment of the nefesh that it's internally connected to the nefesh. That's why it can express it, the pure intellectual experience and the pure emotional experience, which cannot be expressed in dibur. That's in machshava. Yadua, like we said, machshava is bria. That's what I mentioned before. The machshava dibur ma'is says bria tzirasi. It's the machshava is bria. V'aina the bria bria v'aina. So what does it mean? It just explains. That machshava it's gilui nefesh. Same thing in the nimshal. It said machshava is bria. Hainu the bria bria meir atzilus begilui. V'zeu, the Shabbos, also means another point from Ma'amah before, the Shabbos, Gila Atzil Dela Bush Abri. Remember, in Ma'amah before, I spoke that Shabbos, Shabbos Midibu, but there's Machshava. The Shabbos is Gila Atzil Dela Bush Abri. The Bebes, Achai Lashpor about the soul, I tell Rav Kam the Tzil, Buchot Stars, Rav Kam the Asir, Rav Tzovis, which is the Rav Tzovis, Rav Kam like the Shishamitis. Buchot Stars, Rav Kam the Asir. As that's what it says in Kabbalah, that not the soul, the ashpor is to itzira. Mechutz la'aretz to asir. That's how the Gdush starts the soul. But Shabbos, how they are bria. Mentioning Shabbos, the gila of Atzilus in this world is to bria, which is machshava. V'arei achoylo bein arech v'gam Shabbos. And the gila of choylo shalei be'er Shabbos. B'frat v'aliyas the Shabbos in Shabbos gufa. In Shabbos gufa. There is Shabbos Stam. Aliyas Oilam is the Shabbos. Shaliyah is in Prince Atzon and Sofa, Kumashikosu. Kumashikosu, Shabbos Ein, August is Sana Galavaya, Akala de Alabushabri. Second.
Mr. is saying that that Mardiberio is for Eretz Israel.
What?
Not
No,
for
for both.
Eretz.
No, it's both. It's not so. That's what it sounds like. That
How
Shabbos,
can it be both?
Shabbos is not, it's also.
Yeah, but Mistame from like one level higher. No, so Mistame from Chutz Yesira.
I don't know why you're saying that. That's not what it says here, but it sounds like Shabbos. Yeah, Shabbos is also different than some Chutzlaritz, but both of them is in Bria. But exact the differences. I don't. Okay, I'll look it up, but I don't think so. Because that's another illustration of the concept of that in Bria to Bria Machshava is a higher level than is the highest connection. That's why don't forget the Emshach is the Sofer and Elam Bria. In Bria they feel the guilt. The Gam, another example of that concept that Elam Abriya is the gila is a gila of like machshava, not gila because it's gamma gila because Hakadoshim. We get to the gila of Kodesh Hakadoshim in Beis Hamikdash, the Mishkan, the Kodesh Hakadoshim, the high level of gila. Isa Sefer Shalbein back in the base. So the Alter says in Tanya back in the base. The Pchinas Chachmei Lo Beistabes Machas Datzilus Machas the Bria Emev Kodesh Hakadoshim by Srishin. That how does the Kodesh Hakadoshim Meir and the Gila Likus is Meir to the establishment in Bria because Bria is a high madrig. Yadua another. Then it brings all kinds of examples to explain how Olam Abriya is a very high madrig. That's what the Sofim are. So now, first he spoke about Shabbos. Now he brings a brayah from that's in Zman. Now he brings a brayah from Kodesh Hakadoshim. Then he brings another point. Yadua the Brio Kamoy Ben Krach Shoras Hamel. So the famous Gemara. The Gemara says, "Kol ma sheroy Cheskel roy Shaya." There's Merkeves Cheskel, Merkeves Shaya, and Cheskel is a very long arichos with details. Shaya is much more bekitzer. It's Ve'eres Hashem Shechna al Kiserom Ben Niso. או שולב מלאים מסעיכל, סוף, מלא שש כנפיים לאחד, because of the Rama Kodesh. It's a very short description. That's Nishai. Hey, Ovo. Then Necheskel is a longer arichas the Merkava we read after of Shavuos. So the Gemara says, Kol Masharo Necheskel or Ishaya, and Yadayim ben Kfar Sharo Yasamel ben Krach Yasamel. Ishaya is compared to Ben Krach, a city person who sees the king, so he's not as enamored. I think that's a simple pshat in Gemara. And then when Kfar, when he sees, he's much more excited. That's the Gemara pshat, obviously. Now, the Chassidus explains what's it in Ben Krach and Ben Kfar. So it says that Ishaya saw the Merkava of Bria and Yecheskel saw the Merkava of Yitzir. That's Krach and Kfar. So it says here, Yadot the Bria K'moy Ben Krach Shor, in the city person. What is a Ben Krach? Ben Krach is a person who knows the inner secrets, the inner ways of the kingship. So that's the difference of Ben Krach and Ben Kfar. The Ben Kfar is the Ben Kfar was a person who comes from a village who doesn't know anything. He's in his Paul. He sees all the what we call the outer trappings of the king's greatness. Mashenk and Ben Krach ain't that's the marshal from Ben Krach and Ben Kfar. That's in Bria Nitzir. Anim shelo by idea from Atzilus. So the nimshul is how much knowledge is in Madrega Hatzilus, which is the Melech. So the Ben Krach, which is Yishai, which is an Elam Abriya, the Merkava of Elam Abriya, he sees much deeper. That concept is explained in the Alter Rebbe Siddur in this Maimon. Kol zeh umipnei like we said earlier, that I mean, it's obviously some kind of the word says Batzilus. So in the bottom it says but the Russian in Chazal is not I think in Tikkun Zayah because Saya. 1 second. So Saya means Elam Akisim, Elam Abri. The Chachma Bina in Taim Ein Galam is Parshin. Because so first of all, the Elam Abri is the Gil of Bina. Spheres are Bina. And Chachma Bina in Taim Galam is Parshin. Chachma and Bina are always connected. Okay, most of the Shemkes Ata, Availa Vadech, the Chachma Datzilis, the Abba Elohim, Mekana Batzilis. Okay, now they Pnimi is Abriyash.
Even though that we always know that between Bria and Atzilus, Shaloi Be'er.
Yeah. 1 second. Okay, you're pointing out a good point. That sometimes everything is sometimes Chassidus talks about longer arichos below that of no the einarech of Atzilus and Bria. Sometimes we stress that action, and here he stresses the other side. I mean, they're both true, but I mean, depends what we want to emphasize. Here in this mind, I want to emphasize how much Bria. Yeah, sometimes it says that there's all powers of Atzilus to Bria below that too. They're both true. In other words, there is what aspects are true, and here he wants to emphasize that aspect of how much Bria has the Gil of Atzilus there. But it's also true that there's a certain aspect of Einarech. Okay, how to exactly reconcile it? That's, I mean, it's not mamish a steer because there's a few aspects in Elam Bria. Elam Bria is it's yesh. It's called yesh Bria, yesh ma'ayin. It's something new, but it has within it but they're both there. Okay, we have to Okay, it's a good point. We have to find a good way to explain how they're not. It's not contradictory. All right, we'll think about it. Okay, so going back to this entire Ata Vadecha was right now. He spent a few lines. This, although the Gemara and Elam Abrid, Sofim are able to capture the Giluim of Elam Atzilus, and that creates in them that's why I'm the Mimala Shchinta. That's why I'm the Tzanais Medag the what Oimdim. What is Oimdim? Ein Amida Ela Shtika. Amida means also shtika. What does it say such a thing? Ein Amida Ela Shtika. Expression. Second. Yeah, the Gemara in Pesach. Yeah, the Gemara says in Pesach. The Gemara says in Pesach. The pasuk in Nehemiah, the Kisrei the Kolam. It says like this: Kivan Shani, the Gemara, Kivan Shani Sefer Torah, also Sapach for the Valach. The Sefer Torah opens we now allowed to talk. Feel the Valach, even Allah. Shenema, Pisrei the Kolam. They open the Torah everywhere the Ein Amida Elashtika. Amida represents shtika. Shenema, actually, it's a pasuk in here. V'yichalti ki lo yidabru ki omdu lo yonu. Lo yidabru ki omdu. So we see in this pasuk in here that Amida is connected to. Let's see the pasuk itself. That Amida is connected to being quiet. See. V'yichalti ki lo yidaberu ki omdu lo yonu oid. Was Dr. Here, I think it's right in the beginning of here. No. Omdu loyon. Omdu means these three. Eve answers. Remember the whole story of Eve. That Shloisha Rei Eve, the three friends come to rebuke him, and he tells them, Omdu loyon, they have nothing to answer. It's not the beginning. It's much forget. So close to the end of it. He's not impressed with what they said. He says, Omdu loyon. So the word Omdu can be translated as they stop talking. That's an interesting way of understanding the pasuk. It's a drash for Gemara. Upon him, say, "Ein amida ela shtika." So amida, the amida of the malachim, Sofim, the malach represents the union of shtika. What does shtika mean? Ein of beetle. When a person is quiet, means he's bottle. He's not expressing himself. He's withholding himself. He's holding in because he's bottle. He doesn't feel important or confident to express himself. He's quiet. There's another remez that Amida is beetle. That's the in pasuk in Yecheskel when it talks about the Merkava, the Malachim there. So one of the expressions says "Be'omdom tarpena kanfein." When they stand, their wings are weakened. In other words, the wings stop functioning. That's the pasuk. It says pshat. What is the deeper meaning of this word? Kanafayim or afifa. Nafayim, the wings represent the flying. The knafayim, the wings represent flying in a state of what's a yearning to an expression of ava krish be'esh. It's a very strong fiery love, like flames of fire, like coals of fire. That's tachas harakia. Because when they stand tachas harakia, they're in a state of flying because they yearn to go up. Then that's it's described as the pasuk Necheskel over there. First you have to find the but then there's a coil by there's a voice coming from above the sky. Oh, stop panic fame. Then their wings weaken. The rotze, the yearning, the flying, rising up, that is nullified. Okay, so we have two illustrations. Amida is bittul. One is Amida shtika, and also ba'andam terpenekant fame. Their wings weaken. Vahu, and he jumps right away the way it is in Avodas Hashem. That happens actually. That's why in davening, you come to davening. Shmona Esrei, so we have both of these things. There's shtika, itam b'chshai kol mamadaka. We speak, we daven quietly. That's shtika, and also omnam, we stand. So all these and these things are expressed in Tefillah Shmona Esrei relative to Shkrishma, the Rash ve'Eish. He brings in his maramas to the famous story with Eliyahu Novi, that loy barash Hashem, loy be'esh Hashem, the kol mamadaka. So there's the rash and the eish, the storm and the fire. That is P'chinas rotze the krishma, the rotze. That's the yearning, what we expect. The ava krish be'esh, the rash and eish. Shupchnis hasaga, Shema Yisrael. That, and also it's hasaga, because then the person understands and contemplates. That's the madrig of Krishma. So that's the Rash and Eish. Aval be'omdom, b'tfila, be'omdom means when you come to Tefillah Sa'amida, the Tefillah Shmona Esrei, tarpena kanfeim. So the kanfeim, that those wings of Ava and Rash, Ava Krish Be'esh and Rash, they weaken. That's loisa b'chshai. That's loisa, the davening of Shmona Esrei is b'chshai. It has to be in a quiet way. Shtika. Kayadua, the Shmona Esrei b'atzilus. Shmona Esrei is in a realm atzilus. B'yachas to all the other, like there's the four steps of tefillah. Shmona Esrei is the highest one atzilus. So that's a total bittul. So that's like a dogma to the Melachim. When you have the Kol Me'ala, when there's the Gila of that Madrig of Me'ala, so that brings out the Madrig of Bit. So now the difference. The pasuk in Yecheskel doesn't talk about Sofim. It talks about all Malach. So he says, it's only sporadically. When there's this gilu, then they ba'amdam tarpena kanfeim. But besofim tomit came. Hashem sofim, the higher malachim, in Elam Abriya, they always experience that level of beetle, oimdim, zeh oimdim lashon hoive. In other words, by the other malachim, it says be'omdam tarpena kanfeim. When they reach the state of Hamida, which is the beetle, as a result of the kol malakia, then they're bottom. But that's not the constant state of being. Shenkem neget to sofim, it says oimdim. They lashon hoive. That's a constant thing. The besofim ima yesam chesrish be'eish. The word sofim. The word sofim is lashon seifa. Chesrish be'eish. It's fire. In the mitzad gila because they experience the gila of Atzilus, so that is found in the beetle of Oimdim. So we understand. So we finish discussing that point. The Tzrofim are the Malachim Elam Abriya who experience the Gilui of Elam Atzilus, and that's Elam Atzilus, Ato Avai Levadecha. Mele, they have the Amida, the bit.
But I'm sorry, but it's saying that seraphim they are in fiery, yeah, rish be'esh. So that's in the Shema. But here is saying that they're in the Olam Beriya, because you know what I'm saying? It seems how you could reconcile this.
What are you saying?
It's saying that seraphim that they are higher level in the Olam Beriya, correct?
Yeah.
But this is a higher level because compared to the others, and correct? There is the seraphim are higher than Ufanim.
Right.
So we have two levels of Shema and Shemona Esrei.
Yeah.
Beriya and Asilut, and Asilut is in Shemona Esrei.
Right.
So seraphim should be on the higher, which they are on the higher level. That they are in the level of Asilut, they should not be burning. They should be Chashai.
That's what it says. Seraphim Oimdim. He said, Agam ime yesam v'srish the nature is, because they're not Atzilus, they're in Bria. They're not, they feel the Gilui of Atzilus. The Seraphim themselves are in the Elam Bria. And they say Kodesh, Kodesh, they yearn to go up. But because they feel the Gilui Likuts, so that's why they have Oimdim, they have the Amida, the Beetle. The Rish Be'esh itself is Nisbatel. Tzad Gilui Atzilus, Gam Kemchinas Oimdim. So they have both sides.
They are seraphim. That's my question. They are nisraf. They are on the fiery level.
I mean, I know what the question is, but that's the last is the nature themselves and the state for fire. Fine. B'tzad Gilui Atzilus Shamelem Gam Kemchinas Oimdim. They also have that aspect of Hamida. Okay, I understand. Okay, the puzzle doesn't fit exactly. Okay, but it can be. Okay, I understand your point, because I mean that's not mamash atzilus. They're in elam abriya. They're mekabel from atzilus. So mitzad in an abriya shebahem they're in a state of frish peish. But because they feel the gilui atzilus, gam kemchinas oimdim. They also have that aspect of oimdim. Okay, so okay, I mean I hear your point. But in our we brought earlier from Zohar and Medrash. Where was it? In the bottom of page Kuf Gimel. Akroshim oim shezek neged asraf, which cause a bit Zohar l'mayla asrafim oimdim l'mata atashitim. So the Akroshim represent the same concept of Zayn Atashitim oimdim shein asrafim oimdim and Gilui Atzilus and. So that is the union of Atashitim Oimdim. Again, I get your question. I'll try to think of how to reconcile. Cause the Elam Abriya, but all this entire experience happens in Elam Abriya, because in Elam Abriya you have the Gilui of the Atzilus. The male is the Amida, the Oimdim, the beetle. Aval b'tzir v'asiya in the law of Elam b'tzir v'asiya ain't the etzem ha'atzilus. In the Elam b'tzir v'asiya the etzem ha'atzilus is not made. When she calls of yetzer oil very chayshach, here's very chayshach. Sabriya is chayshach. Why? Because Yosh is chayshach tzitzur. Chayshach in the positive sense. It's so dark because it's above. It's above. It can't be revealed. Yosh chayshach tzitzur. Dain sheine musa. So boy chayshach. In Elam Abriya, it's dark. Dark means that we cannot. It's such a high level of pelikus that it's hidden. It's impossible to grasp. Sheine musa. Kamoy Briya nika chayshach sheine musa b'tzir v'asir. Kamoy. And it says kamoy. So Briya is chayshach sheine musa b'tzir v'asir. Mashenkin yitzira is yetzer oil. B'yoysa, he doesn't say the other side. Mashenkin yitzira is It's a oil because over there is a low madrega become relate. And the reader, the descent of the oil, Sheina Meir, is not Yumarnasir. The Af Asisit is Sikoinian. It's a remes another concept that's discussed in the Torah and other places. It says in Pasuk, like we said in Pasuk earlier, Borasi Bitzate Afasisi, the three Olam Samarumas in the Pasuk. Borasi Bitzate Afasisi. So Borasi Bitzate, it's flow. Between the word Yitzate and Asisi, there's another word, Af, also, which means Ifsik, it's a leap. So Nasi, it's even lower. Why? Yitzir Bria Yeshnam Kilber, in a way, Yitzir and Bria have some kind of closeness. Shayitzir Gila El Delam Bria. In Yitzir is that the same Madrega that's Nelam in Bria is Misgal in a lower way in Yitzir. So they have some kind of connection. Maya Dibo, and the marshal of that is, we said earlier, Machshav and Dibo are like Bria and Yitzir. So what is Dibo? Dibo, Gila El Machshav. What's hidden in the Machshava is revealed in the Dibo. Very big tzir, from Meir cannot Gila Atzilus. So that's an element tzir. Sometimes there is a Gila for Atzilus. Vayikol Malarakia. The Pasuk Vayikol Malarakia says in Merkavas Yecheskel, which we said earlier, Merkavas Yecheskel is the element tzir, Ben Kfar. So we see the element tzir has some kind of, he says the sporadically there is a gil, there's a kol me'alakia, there's an expression, there's a gil from madriga, which me'alakia means from atzilus. So sometimes in the elam atzilus there's also a gil from atzilus, which from the same kind as amida canal. That's why ba'omdom, when there's a kol me'alakia, so in elam the malach b'elam atzilus, sometimes they have the chayes hakodesh, and elam atzilus they have sometimes the amida. The beetle, because there's a gil of Anam Atzilus. In Asi is totally separated. That's why Afasis, there's Iftikin. Another remes, interesting remes, it's Chassidus, the Zel, the Tmuna say. So we see these three elements, Amarumas, in the picture of a letter hay. That's three lines. The top and right line are connected, but the left line is separated. Shabbos Kavin Mechoborim, the top line and the right line, that's Bri V'Yitzir. That's connected because they have some kind of shaykhs. Hashem have a gimel, the one on the left, the letter hey, the left leg. Unifot, there's a separation. So that is what happens in Mabri. But ultimately, the Alma Avoida is, and the ultimate goal is that Elam Asir should also have the Gila Fatzilis. In other words, on its own, it doesn't have. But what's our goal? Like we said earlier, the ultimate goal is that the Gila Likus should be Nimshach also, Gila Fayat Tzila should be Nimshach also, and Elamat Asir. So what happens? It says, they should Gazel them Tzasa Tzir, they say Gila Tzila should be Gam Basir. So Yitzira is, the Elamat Yitzira is a sort of interface to bring down the Elamat Tzila also in Elamat Asir. Kamal the marshal, so that was the marshal the marshal, the way it's in the human experience. So the Dibo speech connects the machshava into action. When you bring atom words, that triggers action. To speech, the machshava is expressed in action. The kasharoit, when you want something and you think about it, it's interesting. You're talking about action of another person. You express your interest and your thought in words that another person hears. You make the other person act out what you wanted, what you thought about. But had this interface of Dibo, המחשב והמייס מובדלים זה מזה לגמרי, לעולם לא יובא מהמחשב ולמייס, והדיבור מחבר. We learned it in a few more earlier also. The truth is, I mean, we can say that now on the person himself can think and do something without verbalizing it. But Chassidus explains that really the fact that you were able, in order to do machshava should come into action, maybe if it's not, maybe it's not taka verbalization in actual words, but it goes to that stage of dibur, that you tell yourself what you want to do. So there is a certain type of dibur which is the interface, that the conduit that brings down what you think into action. So the dibur is the mamutza. So that's the end of deep. Indian, but it's also again avodas Hashem, more practically speaking. That's what we say in avodah and avodas Hashem. It says God will Talmud Shemay. Learning brings to action. So we're talking about conceptually. In order that the action, the rotzen, the Eibish's rotzen, should be actualized in Maisa, we should perform, we should act and execute what his desire, what his interest is, his desire is. We need the Talmud, we need learning, which is the Dibur. So the Talmud is the memutza between the rotzen and the Maisa. We actually learned it also earlier in the Maimon Vayigash. We explained the whole point how Torah is the memutza, that the interface that brings down the rotzen into Maisa. So that's a marshal to a dogma to our discussion here. It's memutza, because we said Yitzira is like Dibur. Again, that Yitzira Asir is Machshava Dibur Maisa. See, Yitzira is that like the Memutza Shemevi. The Machshava is the Memutza. I'm sorry, the Yitzira is the Memutza. To bring down the Gila Likus of Elam Atzilus in the Elam Asir. We need the Elam Yitzira. We said before, Yotzer Oil, because Yitzira has a mile in it. Yitzira, Lashon Tzur, Lashon shape. The shape of Elam Yitzira, that is what makes the Gila Likus for Elam Atzilus in a way that Asiyah can be makabel the Gila. So now it's going to go on a shtikla arichos what the Yitzira does. ואנט מיילס הגיל שבין המציר גם שפינס האלם אחרי שדברי לו מיילם פינס הגיל הגיציר כל מה גיל יש with Israel מיילם תחס הכוונה הגיל. So it brings in again that what we said what we spoke about it in a few more. The Gilui, just as you spoke of mile of Bina of a Chochma, the Gilui has a mile on it. So Yitzira has a mile of a Bri, because Yitzira, I don't know, my Yitzira is the Gilui. So Gilui has an advantage. Okay. To be continued.
Koyach.